Now, this is quite a story from NASA because for the second time in history, a man-made object has left our solar system. NASA is saying the Voyager 2 probe is now in a space.
Voyager 2 has long been humanity's most distant ambassador, a machine built in the 1970s and still whispering across the vast gulf of interstellar space. Recently, it managed to send a transmission back to Earth that carried with it both awe and a sense of foreboding. The faint signal, traveling billions of kilometers before brushing the antennas of NASA's Deep Space Network, spoke not just of technical triumph, but of something more unsettling, an alert, a warning that rippled through scientific and public circles alike. The idea that a probe so far away, so aged and alone in the cold, would deliver such a message carries a weight that is hard to ignore. This was not a routine check-in about magnetic fields or cosmic rays. It felt different, urgent, as though Voyager itself had become a sentinel at the threshold of the unknown. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. The transmission contained data hinting at anomalies in the interstellar environment. Subtle variations in plasma density, strange distortions in magnetic field readings, and patterns of charged particle behavior seemed to paint a picture of turbulence ahead. For decades, Voyager 2 had been faithfully relaying what it encountered as it crossed one frontier after another: the orbit of Neptune, the edge of the heliosphere, the gateway into true interstellar space. But this time, the fluctuations were neither predictable nor gradual. They suggested something unexpected on the cosmic horizon, something powerful enough to alter the flow of charged particles and bend the invisible fabric of magnetic lines that crisscross the void. Scientists immediately recognized that this was no ordinary blip in the data stream. It was as if the cosmos had shifted its tone, sending vibrations that resonated through the ancient probe's aging instruments. The notion of a warning transmitted across such impossible distances resonates deeply. Voyager 2 does not dramatize. It does not embellish. Every bit it sends is the result of sensors interpreting their environment. That environment now seemed to be whispering about a looming event, something immense and not yet visible from Earth. Plasma measurements suggested unusual compression, as though a storm of interstellar material were pressing against the thin bubble of space our solar system inhabits. The heliosphere, long thought of as a shield against harsh galactic radiation, might be facing stresses greater than anyone had anticipated. Voyager's message implied the boundaries of our protective cocoon were shifting in ways we could not fully predict, and that shift had implications for every planet within. What makes this so gripping is the realization that the probe is not a nearby satellite or even a distant planetary orbiter. It is more than 12 billion miles away, drifting where no human-built object has ventured before. That kind of distance lends a gravity to its words, or rather to its measurements, that cannot be dismissed. The instruments aboard Voyager 2, though primitive by modern standards, are still our only eyes and ears in that uncharted realm. To hear that environment become turbulent is like hearing an old ship's timbers creak as it sails into an unseen storm. It is not the sound itself that terrifies, but the knowledge of what that sound heralds. The implications are vast. If Voyager's warning is accurate, Earth may soon experience intensified cosmic ray activity as our solar system's shielding weakens or fluctuates. Radiation levels in near-Earth space could rise, potentially affecting satellites, astronauts, and even aviation on polar routes. More philosophically, the warning challenges our understanding of the solar system's place in the galaxy. We have long thought of the heliosphere as a stable, balloon-like structure protecting us from the galactic environment. Voyager 2 is suggesting that balloon is neither stable nor guaranteed. If it is being compressed, distorted, or even penetrated by interstellar forces, we are more vulnerable than we imagined. There is also the unnerving suggestion that what Voyager has encountered is not simply natural turbulence. Patterns in the data looked unfamiliar, with regular intervals that did not match random noise. The magnetic field oscillations carried a rhythmic pulse that begged interpretation. Some researchers have suggested it could be the result of interaction with a nearby interstellar cloud or shockwave, the kind produced by ancient supernovae. Others speculate it could be something stranger, perhaps a boundary in the galactic medium itself, a structure we have never observed directly. Whatever it is, the warning was clear. The environment outside our solar system is dynamic and unpredictable, and we are only now beginning to sense its true nature. The timing of the message added to its gravity. Voyager 2's instruments are aging, and the power supply is dwindling. The fact that it was still able to deliver such precise, unsettling information so late in its operational life made it feel almost like a final testament, a last duty fulfilled before silence claims it forever. It is as though the probe held on just long enough to tell us something critical, something we could not afford to miss. Humanity listened, and the faint signal became a voice in the cosmic darkness, warning of forces far larger than ourselves. This sense of urgency reverberated not only in scientific communities but also in the imagination of the public. People wondered whether Voyager had become a kind of guardian, alerting its makers to dangers beyond their vision. While the scientific explanation is grounded in plasma physics and astrophysics, the emotional impact is undeniable. To think of that fragile spacecraft, tiny against the immensity of interstellar space, faithfully sending back a cautionary message after nearly half a century of travel, is profoundly moving. It bridges the cold realm of data and the warm realm of human meaning, transforming a scientific anomaly into a narrative of warning. Voyager's warning also reframes how we see our place in the galaxy. We often imagine our solar system as isolated, serenely orbiting in an infinite emptiness. The transmission reminds us that we are embedded in a galactic environment filled with moving clouds, shock waves, and magnetic structures. Our sun and planets are passengers through this medium, exposed to its tempests. Voyager, standing at the frontier, is the first to feel the spray of that cosmic sea. What it has reported suggests that the waters ahead may be rough, perhaps far rougher than the calm we have known. For scientists, this event underscores the value of long-term exploration. Without Voyager 2, we would have no warning of these changes until they impacted us directly. The probe is a testament to foresight, the decision made decades ago to send emissaries outward, not knowing what they would find or how long they would last. That foresight has given us a chance to prepare, to study, to contemplate what lies beyond. It also emphasizes the need to continue such missions. If one spacecraft can alter our perception of galactic reality, then new probes, more advanced and capable, could deepen that understanding and perhaps even protect us in the future. As the data continues to be analyzed, one cannot help but feel a sense of awe at the scale involved. The forces shaping interstellar space are the result of events unimaginably vast. Supernova explosions, galactic magnetic fields stretching for light years, clouds of plasma drifting between the stars. Voyager's warning connects us directly to these titanic processes, reminding us that our solar system is not a fortress but a ship adrift in a mighty current. It is humbling to realize that while we build cities and civilizations, those cities are enclosed in a bubble that itself drifts and bends in response to galactic weather. The transmission was not loud. It was a whisper carried across the void, detected only because of the ingenuity of the Deep Space Network's massive radio dishes. That whisper, though, may carry greater weight than any thunderous announcement. It is subtle, requiring careful listening and interpretation, but in its subtlety lies its strength. It makes us pause, consider, and wonder. If the universe can speak through such quiet means, perhaps it always has, and only now are we learning to hear. Voyager's message was not a declaration but a hint, a caution, a reminder that we live in a universe alive with change. For those who have followed Voyager's journey since its launch in 1977, the recent transmission feels like a chapter turning. The probe, built with slide rules and ingenuity of another era, continues to expand our horizons in ways that even its creators could not have predicted. That it would become a herald, warning of unseen cosmic turbulence, adds an almost poetic dimension to its legacy. It is as if Voyager was always destined to carry not only the story of Earth outward, but also the story of the galaxy inward, bringing back news of what lies ahead. Even as the specifics of the warning are debated and studied, its broader meaning is clear. We are not alone in our isolation. The universe is not empty. Forces move, pressures build, and the fabric of space is restless. Voyager's data makes this tangible, transforming abstract astrophysics into a direct communication of environment. We now know the interstellar medium is not a static backdrop, but a dynamic participant in our solar system's journey. This realization is sobering, and it will shape how we think about long-term survival and exploration beyond Earth. The story of Voyager 2's warning is not about catastrophe or doom, but about awareness. It reminds us that exploration is not just curiosity, it is vigilance. The probe's lonely path has placed it in a position no other instrument can occupy, and from that vantage point it has delivered a gift of foresight. To heed that warning is to honor the effort that built and launched it, the decades of care that kept it alive, and the courage it represents. Humanity has always relied on scouts, those who go ahead to see what lies beyond. Voyager 2 is the ultimate scout, and its message is one we cannot afford to ignore. The transmission will be studied for years, dissected for every clue it offers about plasma behavior, magnetic structures, and interstellar conditions. But beyond the numbers, it will be remembered for what it symbolized. It was a voice from the edge, reminding us that the edge is never still. Voyager 2 has carried our hopes and questions farther than any other machine, and now it has brought back not an answer but a signal of caution. That alone is enough to make us stop and reconsider our place in the cosmos, not as masters of a static world, but as passengers in a moving, shifting, living galaxy. The moment the signal from Voyager 2 reached Earth, the silence of space was interrupted by a ripple that carried both scientific discovery and a sense of impending revelation. What had once been thought of as a distant probe fading into quiet retirement suddenly became the voice of a frontier no one had ever touched. It was not the echo of a failing machine nor the background murmur of deep space, but a purposeful transmission that hinted at something extraordinary. Every byte of data transmitted across that vast distance spoke of conditions that could not be dismissed. A story unfolding at the very limits of human reach, as though the universe itself had chosen this moment to let us know its secrets. This event is a reminder of the extraordinary endurance of Voyager 2. Launched in 1977, it was originally designed for a mission lasting just a few years, enough time to fly past Jupiter and Saturn. Yet it went further, swinging past Uranus and Neptune, and then beyond the orbit of Pluto. For more than 4 decades, its nuclear power source has steadily dwindled, but it has continued to operate, crossing one boundary after another until it became the first probe to enter true interstellar space after its twin Voyager 1. The fact that it still functions at such a distance is itself miraculous. That it could deliver a transmission so compelling, a signal that resonated not just in its technical precision, but in its implied warning, elevates the spacecraft from engineering marvel to cultural legend. The timing of this transmission was uncanny. Humanity is at a point in history where our gaze is shifting outward more than ever. New telescopes are mapping exoplanets, advanced observatories are uncovering the behavior of black holes, and plans are being laid for missions to Mars. Against this backdrop, the voice of Voyager feels like an elder speaking across generations. It is a whisper that says, "You may dream of the stars, but remember the vastness you are entering." The warning, encoded in plasma density fluctuations and magnetic field distortions, was not simply a matter for astrophysicists. It was a statement about the unpredictable and restless character of the galaxy we inhabit. To understand the magnitude of what Voyager 2 conveyed, one must grasp the concept of the heliosphere. This vast bubble of charged particles is blown outward by the sun's solar wind, forming a kind of shield against the harsher cosmic environment beyond. Voyager 1 and 2 were the first to cross this threshold, experiencing firsthand the point at which the sun's influence fades and galactic forces dominate. Now, Voyager 2's new data suggests that this boundary is not fixed, but dynamic, pushed and pulled by external pressures. If the heliosphere is being compressed or distorted by a dense interstellar region, then every planet within, including Earth, is subject to a new balance of forces. The data hint at such a compression, as if the bubble of our solar system were being squeezed by a cosmic hand. The warning carried with it an implication about cycles and rhythms of the galaxy. For billions of years, our solar system has been drifting through interstellar space, passing through clouds of dust, regions of plasma, and magnetic structures shaped by ancient supernova. Most of these encounters are invisible to us, occurring on scales too vast to notice in the span of human lifetimes, but Voyager, stationed like a sentinel at the edge, is sensitive to them. The rhythmic pulses in the data may point to structures in the interstellar medium that we never realized were so close. They might be the edges of old stellar remnants or waves of plasma rolling outward from distant cataclysms. Whatever their source, They reveal that interstellar space is not uniform emptiness, but a complex, shifting terrain. One of the most striking aspects of this moment is the reminder of fragility. We often imagine Earth as protected, wrapped in layers of atmosphere and magnetic field. But Voyager's findings suggest that those layers are not absolute, and the larger shell of the heliosphere itself can change. A weakened shield could allow cosmic radiation to seep into the inner solar system with greater intensity. For satellites, this could mean disrupted electronics. For astronauts, especially those venturing beyond low Earth orbit, it could mean increased risk. Even at ground level, shifts in cosmic ray intensity can affect atmospheric chemistry and cloud formation. The warning, then, is not abstract. It points to vulnerabilities in the systems we depend upon daily. Voyager 2's transmission also speaks to the philosophy of exploration. When the probe was launched, it carried with it the Golden Record, a message to any potential extraterrestrials it might encounter. That record, filled with sounds, languages, and music from Earth, was a declaration of hope and curiosity. Now, decades later, the spacecraft sends us back its own message, one that is less about celebration and more about caution. It is as though the roles have reversed. Humanity once sent a greeting outward, and now the galaxy, through Voyager, sends a reminder inward. This duality gives the mission a poetic balance, framing our journey into the stars as both invitation and challenge. The scientific community has been quick to dive into the details of the data, seeking patterns and explanations. Some researchers propose that Voyager may be detecting the bow shock of our solar system, the region where interstellar material piles up before being deflected around the heliosphere. If this bow shock is more turbulent or closer than expected, it could be reshaping the very boundaries of our cosmic neighborhood. Others speculate about denser clouds of plasma drifting into contact with the heliosphere, remnants of long-dead stars whose material now flows silently between solar systems. Each possibility expands our view of the galaxy, reminding us that we are not drifting through calm seas, but navigating through the wreckage and energy of ancient events. What gives the warning such gravity is the fact that it comes at the twilight of Voyager 2's operational life. Its power is waning, and its instruments have been selectively shut down to conserve energy. Yet in these final years, it has delivered perhaps its most consequential message. It is as if the spacecraft has saved the most urgent revelation for last, holding on to its strength long enough to pass along something that truly matters. That sense of timing resonates with human narratives of endurance and final words. Voyager has become more than a machine. It has become a participant in our story, shaping not just our knowledge, but our imagination. There is also a profound cultural resonance in the idea of a warning from the stars. Across mythologies and histories, humanity has told stories of signs and omens appearing in the sky. Comets, eclipses, and unusual alignments were interpreted as messages from the cosmos. Voyager's transmission is the modern counterpart, a scientifically grounded but emotionally powerful communication from the heavens. While the data are explained through physics, the interpretation carries the same sense of portent that ancient stargazers must have felt. It connects our technological age to the deep well of human tradition, in which the universe is always speaking if only we have the means to listen. The implications stretch beyond immediate concerns about radiation or space weather. Voyager 2's findings force us to reconsider long-term survival beyond Earth. If interstellar space is more hostile and variable than we thought, then missions to other star systems will require shielding and preparation far beyond our current capabilities. The dream of interstellar travel is not diminished, but it is reframed. The galaxy is not simply an open ocean to sail across, but a storm-laden sea filled with unseen currents. The first step toward such journeys is acknowledging the true conditions out there, and Voyager has given us that first crucial glance. The transmission also reignites discussions about the continuity of space exploration. Voyager 2 is old, built with the technology of rotary phones and early microchips, yet it remains our only witness at that distance. What would a modern probe, equipped with today's instruments, reveal if sent into interstellar space? The warning underscores the urgency of such missions, highlighting the need for successors that can not only confirm Voyager's findings but expand upon them. It challenges policymakers and space agencies to invest in exploration, not just for curiosity's sake, but for awareness and security. Beyond science and politics, There is a deeply personal dimension to Voyager's message. For those who look up at the night sky and feel wonder, the idea that a human-made object has crossed into the spaces between stars and sent back a warning is profoundly moving. It is a reminder that we are connected to the vastness, that our machines and our minds can reach across distances once thought impossible. It is also a reminder that the universe is not passive, that it holds surprises and dangers, and that we are still at the very beginning of understanding it. Voyager has turned the abstract into the tangible, giving us something to hold on to as we peer into the void. The story of Voyager 2's warning will continue to unfold in laboratories and observatories around the world. Data will be parsed, models updated, and theories tested. But beyond the technical details lies the broader meaning. The universe is alive with change, and we are part of that change. Voyager has reminded us that boundaries are not permanent, shields are not absolute, and safety is not guaranteed. Yet it has also reminded us of our resilience. The fact that a machine built by human hands can survive the void for nearly half a century and still deliver insights that reshape our worldview. That resilience is our answer to the warning. Voyager 2's transmission is not just a line of data in a scientific report. It is a moment in history, a milestone in our relationship with the cosmos. It is the universe tapping us on the shoulder, telling us to pay attention. In the end, the warning is not a message of despair, but of awareness. It urges us to look outward with clearer eyes, to prepare ourselves for the realities of space, and to embrace the truth that exploration is never without risk. The stars call us, but they also challenge us. And Voyager has been the faithful messenger that delivers both invitation and warning. Its journey is nearly over, but its message will echo for generations. Long after the probe falls silent, long after its signal fades into the cosmic background, the warning it sent will remain a turning point in how we view our place in the galaxy. Voyager 2, in its final words, has reminded us that the universe is not empty, that we are part of a living, shifting cosmos, and that our journey has only just begun. When the faint message from Voyager 2 was decoded and confirmed, the sense of awe and unease it created was unlike any other scientific update in recent memory. It was not only the data itself that struck scientists and the public, but also the very fact that this machine so far from Earth still had the strength to whisper across the abyss. To understand the impact of that message, one has to remember that Voyager 2 is operating at the outermost boundary of human technology. Its power supply, based on decaying plutonium, is nearly exhausted. Its instruments are old enough to belong in museums. Yet here it was, providing humanity with a glimpse into the raw forces that shape our galactic environment. That survival alone lends its warning a kind of gravitas, a voice from a machine that by all rights should have fallen silent decades ago. The warning spoke through the language of plasma density and magnetic disturbances, but beneath those numbers lay a truth about the instability of interstellar space. What Voyager seemed to encounter is not emptiness, but a shifting tide of charged particles and magnetic fields. It suggested the heliosphere, long thought of as a relatively steady shield, might be buckling under outside pressure. This revelation reframes the story of our solar system. For centuries, we imagined it as a self-contained unit, its planets and sun orbiting in a serene bubble. Voyager's transmission showed us that serenity is an illusion. Our cosmic neighborhood is woven into a larger fabric of galactic weather that ebbs and flows with energies beyond comprehension. One of the profound consequences of this realization lies in how we think about time. Human history spans only a few thousand years, a blink against cosmic scales. The galaxy, however, has rhythms that play out over millions of years. Voyager's data hinted that we are in the midst of such a rhythm now, passing into a region of space different from the one our solar system inhabited for millennia. This passage is invisible to the naked eye, but it is real, and it is changing the very environment in which life on Earth has always existed. The thought that civilizations rise and fall under the quiet influence of galactic currents is both humbling and haunting. Voyager has revealed that our history is not just terrestrial, it is interstellar. There is also a striking symbolism in the nature of the transmission. It did not come in the form of words or dramatic signals, but as a stream of raw measurements, fluctuations in particle counts, subtle twists in magnetic fields, anomalies in plasma flow. Interpreted by human minds, these become warnings. but the probe itself merely reports what it senses. In that lies a powerful lesson about knowledge. The universe does not send us clear instructions, it offers patterns. We, with our science and imagination, turn those patterns into meaning. Voyager has become the bridge between the silent cosmos and our understanding, its instruments translating the invisible into a story we can act upon. The cultural weight of this moment cannot be overlooked. Voyager 2 is not just a spacecraft, it is a shared symbol of humanity's reach. Generations have grown up knowing that something we built is drifting between the stars. For many, its transmission was not just a data set, but a call to attention, a reminder that our exploration is not detached from reality, but directly tied to our survival. The idea that Voyager could serve as a cosmic sentinel resonates with the ancient role of scouts in human history, those who journey ahead to see what lies beyond the horizon. Just as those scouts once returned with news of rivers, mountains, or hostile forces, Voyager has returned with news of galactic turbulence. The probe's position makes this warning all the more remarkable. It is billions of kilometers away, far beyond the outer planets, embedded in an environment where sunlight is a weak glow. Every second its signal travels, it grows fainter, until it brushes Earth with a whisper of energy captured by massive radio antennas. The difficulty of that communication emphasizes how extraordinary it is to still receive coherent information. It is like hearing the faint heartbeat of a distant traveler, steady against all odds. The fact that this heartbeat now carries a warning suggests that the cosmos has entrusted humanity with a message delivered through its oldest explorer. For scientists, the implications extend to our models of cosmic radiation. The heliosphere has long been understood as our first line of defense against galactic rays, high-energy particles that can damage DNA, electronics, and even the delicate chemistry of atmospheres. If the heliosphere is being reshaped or weakened, then the flux of such particles into our region may change dramatically. This could alter not only the safety of space exploration, but also long-term patterns on Earth. Some hypotheses even suggest that variations in cosmic ray intensity can influence climate over geologic timescales by affecting cloud formation. Voyager's data provide the first tangible evidence that such large-scale influences may be actively shifting around us right now. There is another layer of meaning to the transmission, its timing within the broader story of space exploration. Humanity is on the cusp of establishing permanent outposts beyond Earth. Plans for lunar bases and missions to Mars are no longer speculative but active projects. Voyager's warning arrives just as we begin to extend our reach into deeper space, almost as if to remind us that the environment awaiting us is not static. It is dynamic, alive, and potentially hostile. This does not diminish the dream of exploration, but underscores the need for preparation. Just as ancient sailors studied tides and winds before venturing onto open oceans, we must study plasma flows and interstellar currents before pushing further into the galaxy. In this light, Voyager becomes not only a messenger, but also a teacher. Its message is one of caution, but also of perspective. It demonstrates that exploration is not a straight line outward, but a dialogue with the cosmos. Every frontier we cross answers one question, but raises another. Voyager answered the question of what lies beyond the planets, but in doing so, it raised the question of how our solar system fits into the turbulent galaxy around it. That is the nature of true exploration. It does not simplify the world, but reveals its complexity. The fact that this complexity was revealed by a spacecraft built nearly half a century ago adds another layer of wonder. Voyager 2's technology is primitive compared to the devices in our pockets today, yet it continues to outlast and outperform expectations. It is a reminder that exploration depends not only on cutting-edge innovation, but on vision and endurance. The team that launched Voyager could not have known the specifics of what it would discover, but they trusted that by going farther, it would teach us something essential. That trust has been vindicated in the most dramatic way possible, by delivering a warning that could reshape how we understand our galactic home. There is also the matter of how humanity responds to such a warning. We cannot alter the interstellar environment. We cannot push back against the galactic winds or steady the magnetic fields that buffet our heliosphere. But we can learn, adapt, and prepare. Voyager's message urges us to refine our models, strengthen our spacecraft, and think beyond short-term horizons. It reminds us that survival in the cosmos requires foresight, not just ingenuity. Just as the earliest human communities looked to the stars for guidance, charting calendars and predicting seasons, we now look to Voyager's data to chart a course through the interstellar sea. Beyond practical implications, there is an existential dimension to the warning. It reminds us that we are not insulated from the wider forces of the galaxy. We are part of a larger system, subject to energies and events on scales far beyond our control. This realization can be unsettling, but it is also profoundly connecting. It ties our small planet to the immense story of the cosmos. Voyager has shown us that Earth is not an isolated island, but a vessel drifting in a vast current. That awareness changes how we see ourselves, not as masters of a static world, but as participants in a dynamic universe. The imagery evoked by Voyager's transmission is powerful. One can picture the solar system as a fragile bubble drifting through a river of invisible forces. The boundary of that bubble bends and flexes as currents push against it. Inside, life thrives, largely unaware of the turbulence outside. And at the very edge, a lone probe floats, recording every shift and sending back faint signals of what it encounters. It is a vision of vulnerability and resilience intertwined, a story that captures both the fragility of life and the endurance of exploration. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on Voyager 2's warning? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.